When asked by the media if his own name appears on the Jeffrey Epstein client list, considering Trump's name appeared in Epstein's address book and in flight logs, Trump deflected by falsely claiming that the list was made up by Biden, Obama, and James Comey.
The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What?
On the DOJ and FBI
On what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that.
In audio recordings, the late Jeffrey Epstein described himself as Donald Trump's closest friend and claimed intimate knowledge of his proclivity for sex. The convicted paedophile even boasted of his closeness to Donald Trump and his now wife Melania, claiming the first time he slept with her was on my plane, which was dubbed the Lolita Express. He alleged Trump was a serial cheat in his marriages and loved to have sex with the wives of his best friends. Trump, he said, was almost functionally illiterate, but did read the Page 6 gossip column in the New York Post. He was incapable of reading a balance sheet, and any act of kindness would have been an accident, Epstein said. Last week, a 2-page memo from the Justice Department and the FBI said they found no evidence that the disgraced financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful people or kept a client list, and they reiterated that he died by suicide in his prison cell in 2019. Meanwhile, little Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, called for the Justice Department to make public documents related to Jeffrey Epstein breaking with Donald Trump over an issue that has roiled the president's right-wing base. It was a rare moment of friction between Trump and the Speaker, a top ally on Capitol Hill, and came as the president faces growing backlash from conservatives who had expected him to make public everything known about Epstein, who died whilst in federal custody as he faced sex trafficking charges. Last week, the Justice Department announced that his death was a suicide and that despite conspiracy theories to the contrary, there was no list of his clients to be made public, nor would there be further disclosures about the case. Allies of Trump have since criticized him and the Attorney General Pam Bondi for what they see as opaque handling of a case that Trump campaigned on. Republican lawmakers have now blocked a Democratic-led effort to force the release of sealed evidence from the Epstein investigation, deepening intra-party divisions and fueling public anger. The measure, proposed as an amendment to a cryptocurrency bill, would have required the Department of Justice to disclose a trove of physical and digital evidence, including hard drives, tapes, and other material gathered during its 2019 probe. The push to keep the Epstein files sealed has exposed tensions within Trump's circle and triggered public clashes among his allies. Pam Bondi, Trump's former Florida campaign chair and now his attorney general, previously suggested that she would release key evidence, but reversed course. She reaffirmed the government's conclusion that Epstein's death was a suicide and ruled out any further disclosures. The reversal has not sat well with the conservative base or key media allies. Right-wing figures, including Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, have openly demanded the files be made public and are suggesting that Pam Bondi should be fired. The outcry reached a boiling point when Dan, the deputy director of the FBI and a former Trump advisor and podcaster, reportedly erupted in anger over the Justice Department's handling of the case. Dan Bongino returned to the FBI today, just days after he'd threatened to quit over the Justice Department memo that effectively ended the government's Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The source said Bongino was expected to remain in his role, but tensions remained high within the FBI, DOJ, and White House, with officials hoping the controversy might fade in the coming days. Sources say Bongino was out of control furious after the memo was made public and had gotten into a heated confrontation with Pam Bondi over his frustration with how the case had been managed. He didn't show up to work last Friday and had reportedly threatened to resign. Bondi was removed from her position. Trump, however, publicly backed both Bondi and Bongino, claiming over the weekend that he had spoken with Bongino and that the official sounded terrific. The dispute has drawn renewed scrutiny to the Justice Department's decade-long failure to fully investigate Epstein and the network of alleged accomplices. Much of the public anger stems from the belief that politically connected individuals have been shielded from scrutiny, while lower-level participants or witnesses have faced disproportionate consequences. The lack of transparency only reinforces suspicions that elite figures have evaded accountability. I just want to interrupt myself for a moment to ask you to support me and independent journalism by becoming an exclusive member of this YouTube channel to receive members-only content, early access to most of my videos, regular live-streamed Q&As with me, and much more. It costs just $3 a month for membership, which goes towards helping me grow the channel and create factual, accurate news commentary for those who need it the most. There is hope. I'll do my best to put this honest analysis out every day, but I really need your help to do that. Simply click Join directly below, or click the Join link in the description to join the 5 Minute News YouTube channel. If you already have a Patreon account and you would like to support me there, please do so at patreon.com/5minutenews. Thank you. Meanwhile, Virginia Giuffre, who accused Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein of sexual abuse, died by suicide aged 41 in April this year. Miss Giuffre was one of the most outspoken accusers of convicted sex offenders Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, his former girlfriend. She alleged they trafficked her to the Duke of York when she was 17, which Prince Andrew has strenuously denied. Relatives said in a statement in April that she had been a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse, and that the toll of the abuse became unbearable. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking, they said. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's convicted associate, has petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court to uphold a non-prosecution agreement that she claims was part of Epstein's original 2008 Florida plea deal. That agreement allowed Epstein to plead guilty to a state-level offense while avoiding significant federal charges. Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence for her role in Epstein's trafficking operation. The Epstein case and the political infighting surrounding it has come to symbolize broader concerns about democratic accountability. When powerful individuals appear to operate above the law, public trust in institutions crumbles. The refusal to disclose Epstein's files undermines both transparency and the rule of law, reinforcing the perception that justice in America is contingent on wealth, influence, or proximity to power. As lawmakers gamble that the controversy might fade, the core questions remain unresolved. Who was protected and why? What secrets are still buried in the sealed evidence? And what does it say about the state of American democracy when truth is treated as a liability rather than a public right? Until those questions are addressed honestly, the Epstein affair will remain more than a scandal. It will be a mirror held up to a system that too often protects the powerful while leaving justice behind. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with Midas Touch.